Hello, everybody, and welcome to Eduversations TV. Today, like I promised, I'm going to do a video lesson on productivity for teachers. In my last video, in a previous video, I talked about time management. Now, the whole essence of trying to manage time is to get to this level, is to get to productivity. We want to get to the level of being productive, no matter what we have to do, no matter all the things we have to do. We listed some things that educators do, and we talked about how to manage those things. What are the things you need to do, which are urgent, important and urgent? What are the things you need to defer or delay, which are important but not urgent? What are those things that are taking your time? They are not important, but they're urgent. They make you just want to do them and do them and do them, but they're not taking you anywhere. And then those ones you need to actually delegate. And then what are those things that are actually taking your time? They're not important, they're not urgent, they're just taking you nowhere. Those ones you need to delete. So those are the 4 Ds of time management that we talked about. Now, time management, the whole essence of time management is to get to productivity. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you some of the tools or some of the hacks, some of the strategies you can apply as a teacher to be productive. So productivity for educators. We're starting off with looking at some nuggets, some um, some thoughts about productivity. So one thing you need to know about productivity is that productivity is getting the results you want. So that's the first part, is the results you want, but you're getting the results you want with less time and effort. We said we looked at time management. So all those things that you need to do, and we're saying you need to defer them, you need to delay them. The whole idea is you getting to do them, achieving that result or that goal, but with less time and effort. You don't want to waste all your time all day doing something. You want to do them with less time and with less effort. That's productivity. Another nugget or thoughts about productivity is that productivity talks about ways to achieve our goals while having time to spend on what matters. We talked about those people who it seems like they have more hours in the day. Those ones, they are being productive. They are actually applying the hacks and strategies of productivity. So productivity has to do with ways to achieve your goal while having time to spend on what matters. So be productive so you can focus on the things that really matter to you. Productivity has to do with you working smart, not hard. You can't say you're productive just because you're working too hard or because you have worked 10 hours in a day. Somebody might have worked for 1 hour and be much more productive than the person who has worked for 10 hours, 20 hours, and ended up not really getting anywhere. So, productivity tells you to be smart, to work smart, and not to work hard. I'm sure you're wondering, how do I do that as an educator? Let's see. Okay, another thoughts or nugget about productivity is that productivity has to do with you using your time and energy and attention effectively. Use your time, your energy, your attention effectively to achieve your goal. The thing about productivity is that you have a goal and you're getting to that goal. Whether you're a teacher or a school owner or a leader, you have a goal. Whether they are personal goals or professional goals, you have a goal. And the whole idea of being productive is spending the time and energy and attention effectively. That means balanced in a good way. That's not choking you. All right? And you're doing all of that to achieve your goal. Right. Another thing to note about productivity is that productivity is really the output, what you give out. But it's not just output. It's not just you working, working, working. It's output plus value. Whatever it is you are giving out, whatever time you are uh, investing in something, it must be valuable. It must have value. It must be adding value to either your life or to somebody else's life. So it's outputs plus value that gives us productivity. And another thing about productivity, we talked about this in our time management video. Just being busy doesn't mean you're productive. That's the quadrant 3. Your things that are not important, but they are urgent. That it just keeps you busy. You just find that you're busy doing something, 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 but it's not leading you anywhere. So being busy, it's not the same as productivity. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Just because you're busy, it doesn't mean you're being productive. So that's food for thoughts. Now let's look at something. This is a truth that I want us to all look at and think about, right? One major problem we have when we talk about productivity, time management, all these things, time management, managing your time, work-life balance, blah blah blah. One major problem we have, especially as educators, I must say, is that we want to keep everything we want to do in our heads. You need to mark, it's in your head. You need to grade papers, it's in your head. You need to do something, you need to plan, it's in your head. You're putting everything in your head. And because your head, there's just so much your head can take. What happens is that your head will forget some, and even if it's not forgetting some, it just becomes too much for your head to handle, and then you are stressed, and then you go into burnout, and then you go into being frustrated, and then you start saying you hate the job and all that and all that and all that. So somebody who is trying to be productive cannot keep everything in their heads. You can't remember everything. You can't say they asked you to do something yesterday, today, next week, and then you say, oh, okay, that's fine, okay, I'll remember to do that. That's not true. You're going to forget it. So one enemy of being productive is keeping everything in your head. Being productive means decongesting your head and putting the things you need to do somewhere else. Delegating, putting it somewhere else. So you need to de-stress yourself. You need to decongest your head, yourself, and put all the things you need to do out there, and let somebody else or something else help you do that. So one major problem we have is we put everything in our heads, and then we can't handle everything. Okay, moving on. There are 3 types of productivity tool in this video. This is me. This video is like pia, 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 pia. I'm going to be sharing, giving you, giving you, right? So this video is all about productivity tools, the tools you can use as an educator to be productive. When we talk about productivity, there are 3 types of productivity tools. The first type of tools are called task managers. These type of tools, task managers, help you to deal with the tasks that you need to do. Okay, so these will be apps that would help you to do something as opposed to you doing them. So being productive means instead of you typing out 120 pages of something, a report, or typing out 20 pages of something or 10 pages of something, being productive means you give that whole typing task to a tool, a manager, a task manager, a technological tool that can help you do that. So instead of spending 5 hours typing, correcting, editing, you can give this task to a technological tool to help you do it. So that's one type of productivity tool, task manager. Another type of productivity tool is calendar app. So our calendar app productivity tools help us to remember, the things we need to do. So you need to go on a field trip next week. Instead of saying, okay, next week, Tuesday, okay, I will remember. It's in your head. We have calendar apps, which are productivity tools that can help you remember that. So they are like reminders. And then the third productivity tool are your note takers. So, you need to make a note of something, like a reminder to remind you to do something. There are productivity tools, technological tools that can help you do those. So always remember that to be effective, to manage your time effectively. And in terms of being productive, there are productivity tools, and those types are task managers, the tools that can help you manage your tasks. There are calendar apps, the tools that would help you that would remind you of what you need to do when you need to do it. And then you have the note takers, which help you take note of something like reminders. Okay, so those are the types of productivity tools. Now, the question here is, why are we bothering? Why did I do a video on time management for educators and now I'm doing something about productivity? Why do we need to be productive? Why do you think? The whole idea of being productive is so that you can have more time. You can create more time to do the things you love doing. The world does not revolve around your job. The world does not revolve around what you do in the classroom. Being productive means you get to the point where, yes, you're still carrying out your duties in the classroom, you're still doing all the things you need to do, leveraging on productivity tools, but you have time to spend on the things that you also love doing outside of your work. That's why we need to be productive. Right. Okay, so this is just to sound it to you like a reminder, like da, 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 da. Remember, it is the 21st century, dear educator friend. It's the 21st century. You should be working smart, not hard. Okay, it's good to be hardworking, but in your being hardworking, you need to be smart about it. Okay, how do you do that? You need to leverage on technological tools for productivity. And that is the main thing we're dealing with in this video. Right, so let's look at some productivity tools. You might want to get your pen and paper to write things down because I'm going to be sharing good stuff with you. Right, let's look at these productivity tools. Okay, the first one we're looking at is Google Drive. I'm sure you're wondering like, huh? How? Google Drive. Most of us overlook the importance of Google Drive. Most of us underutilize our Gmails. Now, I'm sure you've heard about Google Drive before. This is what it looks like. That's the logo there. Now, some people wonder, Google Drive, but how do I use it? I don't have See, once you have a Gmail account, which by the way is free to open or to create if you don't have one, just open a Gmail account and this Google Drive comes automatically with it. It's default. It's by default. So once you log into your Gmail, you can always also log into your Google Drive. Now, Google Drive, let's find out about Google Drive, about the things we need to do with Google Drive. First thing you need to know about Google Drive is that it's a cloud-based storage space. That means you don't need to store anything in your phone, because some of us might worry about space in our phones. You're like, okay, oh, my phone is full. You don't need to worry. You can store things in your Google Drive, and the beautiful thing is that it is stored in the cloud. That means it's online. Google company is taking care of it for you online, personalizing it for you online, where only you can access it unless you give somebody else access to it. Okay, so Google Drive is cloud-based. It's a cloud-based storage space, and it is connected to your Gmail account. Like I already said, once you have a Gmail account, you have a Google Drive by default. You can access your Gmail on your computer. Again, your Google Drive, you can access it on your computer, or you can also download an app. Do you see how easy this is? Productivity, make your life easy and be productive. There's a downloadable app. So Google Drive is also an app. You can go to Play Store if you're an Android user, or App Store if you're an iPhone user. You just go there and download Google Drive. It's called Google Drive. Just type in, search Google Drive, and the app comes out and you download it and you can access it from your phone. You don't even have to go through the computer all the time, especially if you don't have a computer. So that's Google Drive. Google Drive helps you. Google Drive makes life easy for you. Okay. Another thing about Google Drive is that you can store or save important materials on Google Drive. We are talking about being productive and letting tools do some of the things we need to keep in here. Okay, so Google Drive saves or stores different materials. These are the kind of materials Google Drive can store for you. You have typed in something in a Google Doc, so documents. You can store things like documents. You can store things like PDF. You can store things like images, videos, slide presentations, sheets like table charts, graphs like Excel sheets, even books. For example, in my Google Drive, I have a folder where I save books that I download, and it's in my Google Drive. So I don't have to be going around everywhere thinking, oh my God, where did I send it? Where did I drop that? Or going back to somebody who sent it to me to say, please, can you resend this document to me? You can save it in your Google Drive. Now, when it comes to classroom, you can save your lesson plans in Google Drive. You can save documents people shared with you in Google Drive. In Google Drive, you can actually collaborate online at the same time. You can work on the lesson plan at the same time with your colleagues in school. So Google Drive makes life easy, simple for you. Remember, you need to work smart and not hard. Google Drive is a great productivity tool. Right, that's Google Drive. Now, in case you're wondering, okay, how do I access this? What does it look like? If you're using your computer, this is what it looks like. So once you log into your Gmail account, this is my Gmail account, one of my Gmail accounts. Up here at this top right corner, you can see those nine dots grid. And once you click there, and you can see all the other Gmail accessories. Now, right here is your drive. So once you click there, you can access your drive. Anything you save on your computer, you can access it on your phone. So you might save something on your computer in your Google Drive, and you are on your way somewhere. You can simply just go back to your phone and access it. That's why it's called cloud-based. It's stored in the cloud. You can access it anytime, anywhere, using any device. So far as you log in into your Gmail account. So if you're using a computer, this is how you would get to your Google Drive. Okay, if you're using a phone, I've already told you it's just about downloading the app from App Store or from Play Store. Another productivity tool we're looking at is called Google Keep. Now, remember I talked about types of productivity tools. We said task managers, we said note takers, and we said calendar app. So Google Keep is a calendar app. This helps you take notes, store things, reminders, all of those. Again, Google Keep is associated with Gmail. If you have a Gmail account, then you have Google Keep. And let's look at, that's what Google Keep looks like, by the way. Let me put this down here. Right, so this is what Google Keeps looks like. And guess what? It's also something you can download. Yes, it's an app you can download. Right, so Google Keep, what does it do for you? It helps you take notes. So note taking is a note taking software from Google. That's Google Keep for you. Google Keep is just like your to-do tool. So it's like a to-do kind of thing. Maybe you have a list of things to do, so you can actually use Google Keep to store the things you need to do. And you can set alarms, reminders, and when it's time, it will remind you. Remember, you need to work smart and not hard. All right. What do you do on Google Keep? You can save texts, images, you can change backgrounds. Yes, all in Google Keep. You can do a voice recording on Google Keep. Yes, so that means if you don't want to type, again, we're talking about working smart here. If you don't want to type the thing you want to be reminded about, you can just say it. Hello, Google Keep. Help me, remind me by 4 p.m. to blah, 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 blah. And it will save it for you. And then if you set a reminder or alarm, once that time comes, it will beep, 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 and remind you. That's Google Keep. Okay, you can even pin your important notes or pictures, right? And then they appear as priority. So maybe you have 10 things to do. Out of those 10 things, number 2 is really priority for you. So you can pin it just like you pin messages and all that in other platforms, on other platforms or in other applications. So Google Keep, the things you can do there, you just need to go and explore. I'm just giving you a tip of the iceberg. All right, you can totally set a reminder, like I said, like an alarm on Google Keep so that it alerts you when it is time. You can trash the items you don't want anymore or items whose timelines have passed. So out of the 10 things you need to do, you have done number 3, 5, 7. Okay, you're done with them. You can delete them, trash them so that it doesn't clog your space, right? So that's what Google Keep does. Remember, we need to be productive. Save time to do the things we love to do while also doing the things we need to do. Right. Finally, you can share with others and collaborate with them on your to-do list. So maybe you have 10 things to do, but it's not just you who need to do them. You need to do it with your team or with your team members in school. So you can save that on Google Keep and then share it so that everybody have access to it and everybody maybe is ticking off, oh, Ngozi has done number 2, tick, wherever Ngozi is. Tunde has done number 5, tick. So you're collaborating and doing things together. What did I say? Productivity, working smart and not working hard. So that's Google Keep. Again, like I said, is linked to your Gmail account. So if you have a Gmail account and you're on your laptop, it's very easy. Just go to the 9 dot grid. Once you click on that, you can scroll either up or down depending on where it is. And right here is your Google Keep. That's how you can access it from your laptop. And then remember, you need to be logged in into your Gmail account. And then if you're using your phone, there's an app. Just download it and you can use it. Okay, that's Google Keep. Now, this other one is such an amazing tool that you can use as a teacher, and it is called polls.io. Polls.io. What does it do? Okay, polls.io is a software and it is used to get the opinions or numbers or responses of a large number of people in one place. So imagine if you have students, especially if they are bigger, older kids and they have access to the internet. You asked a question, you want to just get their opinion on something. All you need to do is to go to polls.io, type in that question, share the link, and everybody gets it, and just give them the. It's just like Google Form, right? But the beautiful thing about this is you do not need any sign up. You don't need to sign up, you don't need to put your email, you don't need to do anything. Once you just go to polls.io from Google, type in polls.io, you don't need to write your name or anything. That's what I love about polls.io. Gmail, Google Form is attached to your Gmail, but polls.io is free. Just something you type in, do it, and you get your results. So it's a software that is used to collect opinions or responses of a number of people. And like I just said, you don't need to sign up. You don't need to create any account. All you need to do is type this in the website, on Google, and then off you go. Yeah, so simply go to polls.io and set your questions, then share it. Simple. So instead of wasting time sending this question to this one, sending to this one, and then waiting for them to reply you, work smart. Okay, so polls.io can be used both in your classroom with your students and outside of the classroom with colleagues or with family members or with friends. Make life easy for yourself. Remember, we said it's about you having time, creating time to do the things you also love doing apart from work. Okay? All right. And then so polls.io saves you the time from, asking everyone verbally or individually or sending a WhatsApp message or sending something via email. You now start waiting for everybody to reply you. Polls.io to the rescue. Okay, so this is what polls.io looks like when you get online and type in polls.io. You will see this. It looks like this. Welcome to polls.io. Create free polls. You can easily share. You can say it. It's very easy. And it's as simple as typing your question here. Enter the choices you want. So maybe you're asking what is a noun. Option 1, a noun is blah, blah, blah. Option 2, a noun is blah, blah, blah. Option 3, a noun is blah, blah. Once you're done, That's it. It will give you the option of sharing, and then you share. Now, how do you get your responses? As people are responding to the question you shared with them, if you come back here, this same place that you typed in the question, you would see the results. You will see the responses people are giving you. You will see the percentage of people who chose option 1 or option 2 or option 3. So it's such an amazing productivity tool. Saves you time, right? Takes off stress from you. Okay, let's look at another productivity tool. And the next one we need to look at is called Dropbox. So Dropbox is similar to Google Drive. It's similar to, yeah, it's similar, most similar to Google Drive. Okay. That's what Dropbox looks like. That's the symbol. Again, it is cloud based, and is also, you can this one you need to log in with your Gmail account to access it. So what does Dropbox do? Again, is another cloud-based storage space. It's similar to Google Drive, like I just said now. It can be accessed via your laptop if you're using a laptop, and it can also be accessed via your phone. Again, is an app that you can download, and you can access it through your phone. But the thing with Dropbox, like I mentioned, you would need to create an account for Dropbox. So you will need to go to Dropbox on the internet, create an account for yourself so that you can log in into your account, your Dropbox account, and be able to use it. Okay, now Dropbox has both the free, that's the basic version, and paid, which is a pro version. So you can either be on free, and you can also be on the paid version. Now you know what happens with free. Yes, it's beautiful. It gives you all the stuff, but you get more in the paid version. Now, storage space for free accounts. If you're on the free account on Dropbox, the storage space you have is about 2 GB. But if you're on the paid version, whoop, you have a whopping storage space of up to 3 TB. That's gigabytes or gigabytes. You don't even know, you don't want to know how much space this is. So it's really up to you, just something you might consider. So all you need to do is go online and type in Dropbox, and then you will see this interface where you can then sign in, get started. You have get started, sign in, support, plans and prices. So just go explore if there's an option you want to consider. That is Dropbox. Okay, so those are productivity tools that you can explore when it comes to task management or note taking or calendar apps. Those are tools that you can consider looking at. Let's look at more productivity hacks, more ways to be productive, more strategies of being productive. Okay, so this is like a suggestion. This is like like an advice, something you can do on your WhatsApp or in your WhatsApp. Instead of scrolling back and forth all the time, trying to get information that somebody sent to you, because you know how when they send messages on WhatsApp, it might have gone all the way up and you might not even find it. What you can do is to star messages. So if there's an important message somebody has sent to you or shared in a group, you might want to star that message. What happens with starring is once you star your message, even if other messages have carried that message, like taking it far away, you can go to your starred messages. So on WhatsApp, you have those 3 dots where you can usually, when you click, and then you have all those options. So if you click on those 3 dots on the top right corner, usually you will see starred messages. And if you click on starred messages, you will see all the messages you have started. Even if they sent it 2 months ago, you can always reach it easily. So that's one productivity hack. Sort of spending time going back and forth looking for a message, you can star that message. Another productivity hack is, instead of the normal WhatsApp um, platform, you can actually consider using the WhatsApp business account. This is also as simple as, if you're using the normal WhatsApp, you can also just switch to business account. The reason is the business account has so many more options that that help you to be productive than the normal WhatsApp, right? For example, the business WhatsApp business has auto replies. So if somebody is asking you about something, a particular question that you know people always ask you, you can actually set an auto responder so that when they ask you that question, that auto responder will send it without you even having being the one to click it. That's what you have with WhatsApp business. Another thing you can do is to have a shareable teacher profile. So imagine that every time somebody asks you, oh, what do you do? Can I have your CV? Then you start running around looking for CV everywhere. Or if somebody asks you, what have you done? Can I see some of your work? And then you start running around helter-skelter looking for where to get it. You can have all those as a teacher profile. That means you can put together all your documents, your CV, your teaching philosophy, and everything you know that you might want to share with people when they ask you. You can put all of that in one place and have it as a shareable link. So put them in one place like Google, and then you can share the link to people. So if anybody asks you, all you need to do is send the link, and the link takes them to where they can access all the stuff about you. Now, one way you can do that is an app called Linktree, which I'm not sure you might want to do because there are better options. But you might also want to check out Linktree. Or you can save it in Google Drive, like we already talked about. Now, you see another thing you can save in your Google Drive. You can save your teacher profile on your Google Drive and only have to share the link to people when they ask about that. Or my all-time favorite is to have a Google site. Yes, as an educator, have your own site, have your own website. And guess what? Gmail or Google gives it to you free. It's called Google Site. Again, you can access it like every other app, every other Gmail app or accessory. Creating a Google site is another video on its own, so I'll probably do that later. Okay, so more productivity hack. Now, remember I talked about note taking as a productivity tool or type of productivity tool. Now, when you go on Google Doc, right, which by the way is another app you can download and just access via your phone. On Google Doc, instead of typing, Google Doc has the feature called voice typing. So go explore it. On Google Doc, you can actually dictate what you want to write, even if it is a book. Just know what you want to say. So just dictate on Google Doc, and instead of typing, as you dictate, the text will appear on the screen. And all you will just have to do later is maybe just to put your full stops, punctuate where you need to punctuate, and maybe where you made a mistake about a word, you can just do little editing. But it saves you that time of typing all the way. Okay, now we've talked about productivity tools, and some hacks. Now, how do we manage to be productive in the classroom? So, productivity in the classroom. What are the things you can do to be productive to save yourself time so that you're not doing everything all by yourself all the time and all that? One thing you can do in class to save time to be productive is what we call peer assessment or self assessment. Yes, you don't have to be the one to mark all your students' work all the time. Your students can mark their work by themselves, and they can mark each other's work like that. So if they mark their work by themselves, that's peer assessment. That's self-assessment. And if another child marks, if they mark each other's work, that's peer assessment. Now, I'm not asking you to relegate your duty to the students. That's not what peer and self-assessment is all about. There are some activities, tasks that you carry out in the classroom that the students can actually mark by themselves. A very good example is spelling test, right? So in spelling test, when you finish dictating the words, just have them exchange and call out the word, do the correction while they mark each other's work or while they mark their own work. Now, that saves you the time of collecting all 20 or 12, 35, I don't know, depending on your class, all 20 work or papers or books, and then you start marking by yourself. Again, that is taking your time. So remember what I talked about in the time management video. Anything you can delegate and ask somebody else to do, do it. Okay, that's managing time. So things like spelling tests, things like objective kind of assessments, the children can mark it for themselves. Now, how that works is before they start marking, you would have given them the rubric for the marking. You would have explained to them the rules, what to do, what not to do. How do you mark? Do you do a tick? When they get something wrong, how do you I mean, you don't want to just do like a star, like a cross. So in some schools, they will say put a dot in the incorrect ones or put a question mark. So you will have discussed all of those with the children. At the end of the day, if they already know what to do, you don't have to say that all the time, every time you want them to peer assess or self-assess themselves. So this is the big productivity hack you can do in the classroom. Another productivity hack you can do in the classroom is use a timer. So you know how I mentioned in the time management video how you lose track of time. So you're doing one activity and you forget that you've been that in that activity for 2 hours, 3 hours. So use timers. Okay. Now using timers can be what we call timer, which looks like this. If you don't have that, you can use the timer on your phone. Right. Most phones have alarms or timer, countdown, or stopwatch. So you can use on your phone so that when you need to stop, your phone will just remind you, it will just beep beep and then stop you. Now, apart from hourglass and timer on your phone, you can actually use a timer on Google. So especially if you're in a school where you have whiteboard and projector, so you can actually just go to Google. As you can see, this is on Google. Like you want to type in search something, so go to Google and type in. See, maybe you want to do 2 minutes or 5 minutes. So this is timer 2 minutes. Once you do that, here is the countdown. And you display this on the board, and the children can see the timer counting down, and you too can see this timer counting down. The beautiful thing about this is once this timer counts down, it will beep, 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 beep. It will alarm, alarm, alarm. Right in the class, so everybody will know. You will hear it like, okay, it's time to stop. And that way you can manage your time well and be productive. Okay, so that's for timer. That's something you can do in the class. Use timer. I love this one. Okay, this one is another way to be productive in class is use online name picker. So you know how you're always trying to decide, okay, which child should I call now, which child should I call now. I'm always calling one child and all that, and then even the children will know that you're always calling one child all the time. So you can use what we call online name picker. Now this is what it looks like. This is just one of it. This is called wheelofnames.com. Again, go to Google and type in this wheelofnames.com, and this will appear. And what you need to do is on this side, you're going to type in the names of all your students. As you type them here, they will appear here. And once you're done typing, let's say you were asking questions and you need to call on the children. So instead of having to be the one to decide who to call, if you want to be fair in the class, you can just do this. Now, once you click inside here, inside there, okay, sorry. Once you click inside here, the wheel will spin and spin and spin and spin and spin until it stops. Once it stops, wherever this pointer is pointing, whichever name the pointer is pointing to, that will be the child to answer the question or to do whatever. Again, this helps you to be productive. Now you can do this maybe while you're marking in the class, and you can set this up and have the children spin it by themselves while you're doing something else. That's being productive. Okay. Another way to be productive in the class is by giving classroom jobs. Now this sounds like cliche, like we know about classroom jobs, but sometimes we don't even know the extent to which we can go with the classroom jobs, and we don't even know that it actually helps us, saves time for us, and empowers the children. So what kind of classroom jobs can you give? I usually tell educators you can You can give any type of job in the class. Uh, Trust me, because you want to just empower the children. Imagine having 20 children and all 20 children have something to do in the class. That saves you time. That saves you time, I'm telling you. So you don't have to be the one to do everything. Now, some of the things, some of the classroom jobs I'm going to be listing here, they might sound funny to you, but trust me, it's helping you to save time and to run away from stress. Okay, so some type of different kinds of classroom jobs you can give. You can have somebody who shares book. Like I said, it might sound funny. You will have book sharer. When it's time to do something, instead of you being the one standing up and going around sharing the books, you can have your child or your student in class who does this. It's saving you time and is empowering the child. Do you know how proud a child will be that she's the one or he's the one who shares books? All right, so you can have jobs like book sharer, book collector. See, I told you it might be funny, but it saves you. So one child shares the books. It will be another child's job to collect the books. You will thank me later. Go and try all this in your class. Then you have fashion police. Your fashion police is the one who reminds everybody to either tuck in their shirt or, just be neat, look prim and proper. That's your fashion police. And then you have teacher assistants. We all know what this is, the person who helps you do certain things. I usually tell this story. I had a teacher assistant once, and the child was so proud of his job. It was a he that, I'll be sitting on my table, my desk doing work, and then he will come to my table and, start arranging things, even when I'm not done working. So he would just arrange and over arrange. Yeah, because he was proud of what he was doing and it was saving me time. It was really saving me time. Yeah. So you can have date writer. Yes. Depending on how low your board is in class and how tall the student is, you can have a child who writes the date. When I did this in my class, even the children were not as tall as they couldn't reach the board, but I would get like a chair, of course, safety, putting safety measures. I'll put a chair for them to stand on to write the date. It was such a proud thing for them to do, honestly. So have dates writer, have board wiper. Maybe when you're done with a lesson or a topic and you want the board wiped, don't be the one to do it by yourself. Don't kill yourself. Have the child be the board wiper. And of course, we have our frontline leader. There's somebody who stands in front and there's somebody who stands at the back. And of course, you can always alternate that so that every child has a chance. And of course, you can have table and chairs monitor. These are the people who make sure that all chairs are tucked in and not, about blocking people's passage and all that. These are just a few that I have listed. You can have up to 20. The idea is just create something. It can be somebody who tells others you look nice, like a complimenter. See, I just made one up now. So the idea is take away stress from you, take away a bit of some things from you so that you're not the one doing everything and getting overwhelmed and looking for time to do things. This is how to be. Remember the 4 Ds of time management? Delegate. Okay, so that's classroom jobs. In conclusion, because I'm coming to the end of this, I've shared all these hacks and strategies with you that can help you be productive, whether in the classroom or outside of the classroom. So, in conclusion, remember, productivity is not working smart. It is not working hard. Productivity doesn't mean you're working hard, you're working your heart out. It means you are working smart. And all these things I've listed are ways you can work smart and not hard. So that's a big reminder. That's something you should take home today. And finally, finally, as you're going home today or away from this video, something else, remember you should get smart. Remember, you should get techy because all these tools I mentioned, they are technological tools because the world has moved online anyway. It's a virtual world we're in now. So you really need to leverage technology. So get techy. Get results. Technology helps you get results. It gives you results. It makes you productive. And yes, get productive. And that's my message for you today. I hope you've taken one or two things. And again, like I always say, this video is right here, free for you here. You can always go back to this video anytime and replay it and rewatch, pause, take notes, pause, replay, whatever. And share, 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 share. We need to spread this, okay? We're helping each other, we're helping ourselves. So share the video, subscribe to the channel so that you can if you subscribe to the channel, click on that bell icon. What that does is every time I upload a video, it will notify you and you can come watch it. So subscribe, and of course, like I said, share the video. And if you loved this video, right, if you want to say thank you to me, just give a thumbs up, and of course leave a comment in the comment section. Two things I really would love you to do subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, share with others so they can also subscribe, and so that we can keep these conversations going and we can keep helping each other in our careers. Okay, that's me there saying bye bye. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye.